How do you set up graphics properly to increase FPS? What is the perfect resolution? How do you set up mouse sensitivity? These and many more important questions will be answered today. Hello Predators, it's MultiAlexson. In this video we will look at setup process in detail, from graphics to the mouse sensitivity. We will also listen to what Michu said about his setup process. It's a useful deep dive, so don't miss your chance to see what the best are doing, so you yourself can become the best. Before we start the game, in beginning game setup, we need to set up NVIDIA control panel to receive the best graphics quality and high productivity in our games. You can find the panel through the search bar or just right-click on your home screen. Once you reach NVIDIA, click Adjust Image Settings with Preview. Make sure you choose the Advanced 3D Image Settings, then go to Manage 3D. First and foremost, go to Power Manage mode and choose Prefer Maximum Performance. If your equipment has a modern graphics card, this is where you can finish your setup. However, for those looking for better FPS, I recommended going to Texture Filtering Quality Next, where you need to select High Performance mode. I also recommend switching on Image Scaling mode. It'll help the players who decrease their resolution for an increase in productivity to preserve the graphics quality. After choosing the necessary options, close the panel and switch on your new game. In Settings, go to Video section. First, in our setup agenda are aspect ratio and resolution, the most discussed things in the community. CS2 gives us 3 different aspect ratios: 4:3, 16:9 and 16:10. Aspect ratio of 16:9 with a 1920x1080 resolution is typical. It's a gold standard of modern screens. Such a combination will give you a sharp image and the wireless field of vision out of all the formats. As a comparison, look at this image. As for resolution, the rule of thumb is the fewer pixels you work with, the less pressure you put on your graphics card, and vice versa. Therefore, by reducing the resolution you can make FPS more stable and in many cases improve them significantly, especially on lower tier computers. The gold standard are recommended sticking with is 16:9 and 1920x1080. If on the other hand frame rate is your priority, you're free to decrease it and choose the perfect one for you. Now that's out of the way, there are other questions that are left unanswered, especially when most novices start searching for the best settings and see that the most popular aspect ratio and resolution among pro players is 4:3 and 1280x960. Well, it's true, pros use it for a variety of reasons. Some out of habit, some like the players' models to be wider when stretch resolution is on, yet others choose it because this aspect ratio has a more narrow viewing angle, which in turn helps to focus when aiming and placing Crosshair. Among the drawbacks of the setting are only the image quality and limited field of vision. It can sometimes be of great importance. For example, in a Mirage, if your aspect ratio is 4:3, you'll not see your opponent coming out of the palace, and vice versa. 16:9 will give you an opportunity to react to beat the enemy. After the aforementioned differences, the choice is yours. We, on the other hand, are moving to display mode. Select full screen and the game will be shown on the entire screen, ignoring any other windows or tasks. This in turn will provide the best productivity. If you need more flexibility while working with other programs during the game, full screen windowed can be a better option for you. As for screen refresh rate, there's only one rule: the higher the better. For example, a screen with a 144 Hz and higher will benefit you greatly with reaction when comparing with players of only 60 Hz. It's also important to remember that if your screen only supports 60 Hz, you can see the refresh rate any higher, no matter how much you may want to. Okay, it's not exactly true. There's some kind of a workaround to improve your rate by a couple hertz, but I doubt if it's actually worth it. The best and yet not the cheapest option is to buy a new screen which supports the rate you need. In most cases, 144 Hz screens are recommended. It'll be more than enough to begin with. The next video setting is Power Savings mode. Disabling it is essential because this way the game will work with a low frame rate to save charge. Regardless if you have a laptop or desktop, go to Edit Power Plan and change your plan from balance to high performance. If you don't have a high productivity plan option, click the battery indicator and move it to the best productivity. Let's now move on to setting up graphics quality. Click Advanced Video. A few things have changed compared to CSGO. Firstly, a few additional options I'll soon tell you about. Secondly, we can see what our game will look like in real time. Now you don't need to be in the game and exit the menu all the time to see the changes. Thirdly, settings are applied immediately with no need to click Apply. These are nice changes, but let's talk about the settings themselves. Let's start with a boost player contrast. This option helps to increase the contrast and player visibility, making them more noticeable against the game's background. We'll leave the option on. Weight to vertical sync needs to be switched off. This is an old feature which decreases the strain on the graphics card by limiting your FPS to the screen refresh rate. Its key task is to fight screen tearing. For example, if your equipment produces 200 FPS, then after enabling vertical sync, you'll only have 60 stable FPS if your screen has this refresh rate. Apart from that, vertical sync isn't compatible with such technologies as G-Sync or FreeSync and can lead to hobbles and delays. So those who appreciate high FPS and smooth gaming should switch off vertical sync. Current video values preset gives us 5 settings: low, medium, high and very high, and custom. With low you'll have high FPS, but a low quality which makes it difficult to play. Preset very high will give you the best image, but your FPS will halve. We need an alternative between productivity and quality, so the choice is preset custom. You can set it up on your own. Multi-sampling anti-aliasing mode is a mode which will help you to better see your enemies. It smooths the borders and improves the overall look. My advice is don't switch it up fully. Put it on minimal instead. It won't overload, but will improve the quality of graphics. Those whose graphics processor is modern enough can choose 4X MSAA. I'll be using this myself. Global shadow quality. I recommend medium or high. At low the edge and shadow is way too blurry, so don't ignore this option. Model and texture detail medium. At this level models and textures on your skins will be sufficiently detailed and won't overload your graphics processor. It's a good compromise between quality and productivity. Texture filtering mode offers 3 modes: bilinear, trilinear, and isotropic. Bilinear affects productivity the least. It smooths the textures, but upon closer look using this mode they can look a little blurry. Trilinear mode is somewhere in the middle. Its transition between levels of textures details is more smooth. The last mode is anisotropic filtration, which gives the highest textures quality, but requires a powerful graphics card. According to the test between the highest and the lowest modes, we lose or gain 10 FPS. The choice is yours. I chose bilinear for my old laptop, while anisotropic 4X for my new modern desktop. Shader detail. If you're a fan of spectacular effects, switch it all the way up. But remember that FPS will decrease. I don't think it's a very important factor. The same goes for particle detail and ambient occlusion. These settings will make your image more realistic, but they will significantly decrease your FPS, especially ambient occlusion. So turn them off if you value your game productivity. High dynamic range, which improves colors and lighting in the game, I didn't notice much difference, so just select performance. The next one is AMD technology. Fidelity Fixed Super Resolution, a new option in CS which allows to boost game productivity by blurring and zooming in on the image. In practice it'll increase FPS, but image quality will be really poor, so no doubt switch it off and leave disable highest quality. Finally, the last setting in this section is NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency, another new feature from Valve. If you have an NVIDIA graphics card and you value accurate reactions and minimal delay, then enabling NVIDIA Reflex can be of use to you. It'll help to decrease the delay from the player's action to the game's reaction, which can be important in competitive gaming. Let's move on to the game section. We need to set up radar and crosshair. While I remember, you now can switch off silencer disconnect on M4A4 silencer and on USPS in the items section. It really annoyed some people, so the new feature is a must-have. Back to the important stuff, the radar. It's simple, just decrease the scale of your map and slightly increase its cut. It'll allow you access to important information you could miss playing with default radar. By the way, the minimap has a visual indicator of your sounds. For example, if you're moving or shooting, the radar makes a circle. If you're standing still, the circle disappears. An overall useful thing for novices. The next equally important thing in the game section is crosshair. Of course, many people like playing with a standard crosshair, but judging from experience, most players, including pros, prefer choosing crosshairs themselves. They like its static style and small size. There are even those who uses a dot as a crosshair. To recreate similar crosshairs, you need to play with it a little, or you can just copy my settings. This, by the way, is the crosshair of the legendary Draken, a pro player from our club IKLA. I'll leave links to the most popular crosshairs from world players in the description box below. I can add one more cool feature in the crosshair section: follow recoil. If enabled, crosshair will move with recoil. This feature can be especially useful for novices or players without experiencing in adjusting weapon recoil. More information about follow recoil and its effect on gameplay is in one of my previous videos you can find on this channel. Highly recommend taking a look. The last thing we have to set up is mouse sensitivity. To do this, go to keyboard/mouse flash mouse and fine mouse sensitivity. But before we start increasing and decreasing sensitivity in the game, we first need to figure out what physical sensitivity of your gaming mouse, the so-called DPI, we need to put into settings. I know it can be unclear to begin with why we need to set it up twice, but DPI and mouse sensitivity in the game are two different parameters. DPI is a physical parameter which determines how sensitive your mouse is, while mouse sensitivity in the game is a program parameter which determines how quickly the game reacts to the movements of your mouse. Together, they determine how quickly you can move the camera and aim during the game. DPI is set up through an app, you can download it on the official website of your mouse's manufacturer. The higher the DPI, the faster the mouse reaction in camera movements are, and vice versa. If sensitivity is lower, it allows to aim more accurately and control the movements of the mouse. Usually players choose DPI between 400 and 1600. There is no point in making it higher. It'll be pure madness. Just imagine, you set DPI at 3200 and wanted to slightly turn to the side to find your enemy. Instead of smoothly turning, you turn 360 degrees. More to the point, when your opponent starts spinning and you want to catch up to them, you start spinning like crazy too, like Tasmanian Devil. If we look at most popular DPI among pro players, is 400 or 800. What you choose between the two popular settings also depends on your gaming style. For example, if you prefer long-range shooting and accuracy of movement, play like upper, then 400 DPI can be the best option. If you play rifler, which requires quick reactions, then 800 DPI can be more useful. As for sensitivity in the game, again, most pro players make it between 1 and 3, so you're free to experiment within those limits. I chose 800 DPI and 2.5 mouse sensitivity in the game. It's convenient for me. Well, that's all for game settings. All we need to set up now is launch options and check out Michu's secret settings. Launch options are additional commands you can indicate when the game is being launched through Steam. They'll help to optimize and increase our productivity. Among the important ones are nojoy, which switches off gamepad support, and high, which sets the highest CS2 priority in the system process. Combine these commands will help to improve your productivity. It's just a fraction of the commands. As always, I leave a full list of commands in the description under the video. They might come in handy. Now, as promised, let's take a look at the pro player settings. Can't wait to find out what resolution he uses.
Yo guys, hello. Today I'm gonna show you what I'm changing on my PC after installing Windows. So we can start from NVIDIA graphic, but unfortunately I couldn't change the language on this, so I'm gonna try to translate it. Let's start from 3D settings. Here I'm changing only 3 options. First of them, it's texture quality, I'm putting it for maximum. The second thing is I'm turning off vertical synchronization, of course it's off. And one more thing, I'm changing management of energy, and also I'm putting it for maximum. One more thing I'm changing here, it's here about the colors, and it's digital vibrance. Default is 50, I'm putting it towards 55, 56, like it's not a huge difference, and for sure you have to compare it with your monitor settings. We can go to maybe CSGO, you can see my launch options over here. It's 3Q 240, of course, about the hertz, no video, so video is not loading when I'm starting the game. Tick rate, so I can practice with good tick rate on my own servers, like on iMovie for example. This comment is about streaming, auto exec, and language English, so it's needed for this video. So I have Polish language, and today I'm gonna show you everything in English. Outside of that, we can go to video settings in my game. Okay, so here guys, in CS2, like I said, I'm not sure about my video settings yet. I just put few of them outside of my experience. Of course the resolution stayed the same, I didn't change it yet, but I'm still thinking about it, about going for that one, but I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna stay until maybe the original version will pop out, but we can check advanced video settings, and I kinda make them outside of my experience and kinda compare from CSGO. But I also changed two options, but I don't remember which one, because I've been watching Rob's stream. He's streaming a lot CS2, so I kinda take 2 options out from him, because probably he's using better options than I do, and I'm just staying with it. Let's see how the game will change after the updates. Maybe some options will need to change. and I think it's all of my settings. Outside of that, I'm also like have overclock RAM and CPU. Even though if I have very good setup, I'm still doing it because I feel like I have less input lag in the game. I'm not sure if it's needed. I didn't do it before, but I started. But I think less you think, better you play. So in my opinion, it's even good to just install Windows, download CSGO, and put your config and play. That's all, and it's gonna be the best. Okay, thank you guys. See you next.
Well, I can finally say that you're Settings Pro. Now I want you to become the new C star, the star who will one day thank me for this settings video. Sure, it's just the beginning, there's much to do to become an actual pro player, but we will help you in that. So if you don't wanna miss any new guys through the CS world, or videos about cybersport on our club, leave your warm likes, subscribe to our channel IKLA, and support our players. As always, it was MultiAlexson. See you in the next video, Predators!